Hey everyone, welcome to today's video. Even though Nothing is still a very young company, it still plans to expand its product line by adding a new phone. Nor are we discussing the Nothing Phone 3 just yet. Rather, there are rumors that a less expensive version of the Nothing Phone 2 is being developed. We go over every Nothing Phone 2a leak and rumor we've heard so far in this video. We'll also discuss a couple ideas that we hope to see but that now need supporting data. Will there be a Nothing Phone 2a? Nothing formally announced the arrival of the Phone 2a on February 1, 2024. The corporation confirmed the name and said that it's coming soon, but it didn't provide many other specifics over the phone. Regarding rumors, the first significant leaks about the Nothing Phone 2a surfaced in late November 2023, indicating that the phone will bear similarities to the original Nothing Phone specifications and performance characteristics. Soon later, leaker Yogesh Brar revealed additional hardware information for the Nothing Phone 2a along with the first purported images of a testing unit. Since then, at least a couple more minor leaks have surfaced, providing further information on the specifications and design. What is the most likely Nothing Phone 2a release date? Since the Nothing Phone 2a is a new phone, there are no concrete clues from the phone's past available to us. Fortunately, we are not required to. According to early reports, the Nothing Phone 2a will make its debut during Mobile World Congress in 2024. This implies that shipping will probably begin a few weeks following the announcement. In case you missed it, MWC 2024 begins on February 26 and runs through the end of the month. What will the Nothing Phone 2a look like? We were able to get our first reliable glimpse at the purported Phone 2a design on February 5, 2024. Reliable leaker Steve Hemmerstoffer, also known as @OnLeaks, claims that the phone seems to omit some features and include others from the Nothing Phone 1 and Phone 2. The glyph, Nothing, the name for the lights on the back of the phones, is not included in Hemmerstoffer's representations, which is the most notable indication. Fans may be disappointed by the Phone 2a's absence of lights, but at least it looks like it still has a translucent back. Additionally, it doesn't seem to have a wireless charging coil, which suggests Nothing's first low-cost phone won't have that functionality. On the back, there are still two cameras. We'll have to wait and see if this design turns out to be quite accurate. What rumored specs and features could the Nothing Phone 2a have? Thanks to many leaks by Brar, Roland Quant, and others, we have a good idea of the specifications for the Nothing Phone 2a. For instance, the MediaTek Dimensity T7200 is expected to power the Nothing Phone 2a, offering users the choice of either 8GB of RAM and 128GB of storage or 12GB of RAM and 256GB of storage. Although the precise display size is unknown, reports indicate the phone will have an OLED 120Hz display. There may possibly be a 50MP dual camera setup, according to rumors. In addition to the previously disclosed information, we can also reveal that the phone is rumored to come in two colorways, black and white, and to run Nothing OS 2.5, which is based on Android 14. We've seen phone wallpapers in one of the leaks. What might the Nothing Phone 2a price be? The Nothing Phone was initially much more of a mid-range device, and when the Nothing Phone 2 with better internals emerged, the price went up a little. However, the Nothing Phone 2 is presently just $699, so in order to attract customers who are value-conscious, the Nothing Phone 2 will need to provide a lower price. Nothing intends to aggressively price the Phone 2a at less than €400 for consumers in Europe, or what is probably going to be around $400 if and when the phone reaches in the US, according to the originally leaked information. Though it appears that the Nothing Phone 2a will have somewhat less powerful hardware and better performance, that is still $100 cheaper than the Pixel 7a's suggested retail price. Should you wait for the Nothing Phone 2a? If you're in the market for a new gadget right now, there's no need to wait for the Nothing Phone 2a, even though it seems like an interesting low-cost phone. We suggest the Samsung Galaxy A54 5G, $449.99 at Samsung, or the Google Pixel 7a, $477 at Amazon, as excellent options if you're on a tight budget. Our best cheap phone guide video will be released shortly. You could purchase the Nothing Phone 2 itself for roughly $300 more than the Nothing Phone 2a's suspected pricing if you are only interested in the glyph functionality. Waiting might not be such a terrible idea if you are confident you don't want to spend more than $400 to $500 on a phone and don't need a new one very away. You'll discover more about the Nothing Phone 2a in addition to the Pixel 8a, which is expected to be released later this year. That's it for today. See you in the next amazing video. Until then, take care of yourself and your family. Bye.